Okay guys, today I am doing a different video than normal. I was asked a question that I figured I am definitely qualified to answer this question because I've spent over 20 years in one form or another of sales. Okay, so the question was my opinion on getting into direct sales. Because this person went for an interview and found out that they're going to be doing some sales work, selling cleaners. Okay. I'm not quite sure how it works when it comes to mentioning company names on platforms like this, so I'm going to probably try to keep it as vague as possible. I'm not, I'm still not sure about that. So anyway. Okay, let's start from the top, okay? All right. So if you tuned in and figured out that way he's not talking about fixing a machine, it's okay, don't the persons that this is gonna help is definitely gonna help. So here we go. Now, when it comes to sales, there's a few different types of sales that you're gonna get into if you're going down that road. And before I even get into those, there are benefits. There are benefits to sales, and there are pros and cons. Okay, just know what you're getting into before you start. But I am going to go through the list, and I may end up just doing a few different videos because it needs to be focused. Okay, if you're getting into sales, know about yourself first. Like you really need to know who you are, okay? Because just because you're an extroverted person doesn't necessarily mean that direct sales in particular is for you, okay? But it does help if you're an outgoing individual, okay? If you're an introverted person, if you're very kind of shy, it may be that the sales is a benefit to you if your desire is to kind of break out of that. Now, I was mostly an introverted person. I still am to some extent. But when I got into sales, it kind of forced me to step outside of that comfort zone that I grew up in my mind. Okay. And then I found the benefits were, I found that I became a lot more personable to my own family members than before. So that was a definite benefit because, in the sales I was in, you had to show physical contact. I don't know how it is today in today's world. I'm talking the 90s, okay? 90s, early 2000s. But yeah, we had to be physical. So we did a lot of handshakes and hug our customers. And I saw how that translated into just my regular personal. So that was a benefit. It was a positive. Then learning how to speak up and speak out and learning about body language, learning about facial expressions. Those things were all benefit, okay? And also learning how to motivate yourself when you're not feeling it, okay? Because when it comes to work, especially today, because there's like hiring issues today, people not want to work. But when it comes to going to work in sales, you can't afford, literally can't afford to go to work with an attitude like I don't feel like it. So you really had to learn how to self-communicate and say, you know what, let's do it, man. Let's get to it. You had to learn to set goals because that helped your mind get back and focus. There's in the industry I grew up in, there's a guy famous and famous in the industry, but his slogan was let the main thing be the main thing. This cat is probably one of my my wife knows him more because she was also in the business with me and she's more outgoing but man, I wish I could say his name. But he said, let the main thing be the main thing. Okay. And that means you have to get your mind away from all the other distractions and focus on what we got to do today. So the gentleman I work with used to say, you have to be able to leave your luggage at the door, leave your baggage at the door, and let's get to work. And so that was something I learned early. Okay, so getting that out the way, that's the benefit. The cons is there's a learning curve. Okay, and there are many more benefits, obviously. I don't think I have the time to go into all that stuff today. The cons is there is a learning curve. And if the company that you are getting into sales with is a commission base only, be prepared for that lull in the beginning. Now you may start gun blazing, right? But then again, you have to, as much as, sales kind of focus on being positive, okay, which is good. I'm more of a balanced person now. I'm more balanced now than I was before, okay? Meaning that there is benefits to negativity. What I mean is, our brain is telling us be wary, right? Now, if your goal is to sell, then you use the fact that you're wary to say, well, then if I still want to accomplish this goal, how do I overcome that thing that I'm afraid of? You see what I'm saying? You don't just be, I'm positive, I'm just going to run in and not prepared. You have to say, well, the danger is I won't sell for the first 2 weeks. So how do I overcome that? Okay. How do I prepare myself for that? Because that is the goal. Now, if you only focus on the negative, obviously you're going to just say, well, I'm not even going to do this because I'm not going to sell for the first 2 weeks, right? Or I'm not going to try this project because I don't have enough experience. Well, if that's the fear, okay, the balanced way to look at it is my goal is to accomplish the project. I don't have the experience. What do I do? Gain the experience so I can accomplish my goal. You see what I'm saying? But just being positive alone, like, okay, I can do it. And I'm just going to run, and doesn't matter how prepared I am. I'm just going to have blind faith that I can do it. That is not realistic in real life. Okay. So if you're going into sales, know that there is a curve, okay? Figure out what you need to learn so you can follow whatever the program is that the company has set up, because every company has a different program. They know what the closing average should be. They know the income bracket that you should be focused on. And most of the time, the higher income bracket is going to be tougher to sell. In some cases, a lot of the time, you'll be surprised that the higher income bracket is an easier sale because they cut right to the chase. You just may not be prepared for them. Okay? It's like, listen, if they see the benefit, they see the cost benefit, bam, okay, no problem. You don't even have to go any further. Just write it up. Give me a good deal and I'll take it. The lower income bracket, you're going to have to sell the value. You're going to have to sell them on why they need it. And then you're going to have to sell the affordability. So you may have a little bit more work involved there. Okay. So anyway, that's that. All right. And that's not a negative on the people, when it comes to income and high income and all that stuff. There's no positive and negative on that. You're not judging individuals, but you do have to recognize where you are, what you're bringing to the table, and what you're getting into. Okay. So this first video, then let me focus on direct sales because that's the one I was in the longest. There are 4 different. There's probably more, but there's 4 different ones that I'm aware of. That's the popular ones in our country. That's popular. You have direct sales. You have like store type sales. You have like telemarketing. And you have like multi-marketing sales. And so this one, I'll focus on direct sales. All right. I'm not a fan, I'll be honest with you, of multi-marketing. Not the biggest fan of telemarketing. Store sales, know that if you're going, and I'm backtracking, all right, and I'll get into all those different ones here. But that's my personal preference. Store sales, if you're going into a company that is part hourly and part commission, that's the kind of store sales I'm talking about. I'm not talking about you just going into like a department store and you have a customer service position or sales associate, and really what you're doing is just helping someone grab something from the shelf. I'm not talking about that kind of sales. I'm talking about the store sales, like like where you may buy tuxedos or where you may buy wedding dresses or something like that, those guys have a quota to sell. Okay, that's the kind of store sales I mean by store sales. All right, here we go. So direct sales. What you're gonna run into, and let me, hopefully my video don't run too long on this one. What you're gonna run into is you're either it's gonna be online, you're gonna answer an ad, whether it's in the paper or online. Here's the drawback. Know what's happening on the side of the company. On the side of the company, they realize that the majority of our country is not like we were in the 40s and 50s. We're not willing to jump into that sales position where you hit the road, like the salesman that came in, those those pictures. He has his felt hat, he has a long trench coat, and he has his briefcase, and he's like, honey, I'm leaving, and he walks out and he's selling, pots, pans, or whatever. He comes home, and he makes a living doing that. We're not like that. Most people in America is looking for a secure position, safety. Okay, that's the reality of it. So they're working from that understanding. So you're gonna find some of these ads very vague. Okay, it doesn't mean that the company doesn't have an opportunity, but it does put you in a position to where you're like, man, why are you so vague? Okay, you would think that maybe now we can be more open about it. Like, this is what I'm hiring for. But the problem is that then they're only going to be recruiting people who are specifically looking for sales positions. So you're going to find positions like assistant management trainee, customer service trainee, something of that sort, and then by the time when you show up there, you find out it's a sales position. You may not even find out in the first interview. You may find out maybe in the orientation or something like that. Okay, so I used to do the recruiting, so I followed the formula that the company laid out, and most of the people that we ended up training were not salespeople per se. They were just people looking for a job. Okay. Now, indirect sales, they're basically two types, but it's really one. But what I mean is two types is that in direct sales, most of the time, you're going to walk into a situation where you're either going to be consigned a product and you go out and sell it, okay? Or you pay for the product and then you go out and resell it, okay? And what happened, the problem is people that are looking for a job, they're not looking to go to a company to go and pay for a product. They're not looking to go buy into something, okay? They're looking for a job, right? So what the company may do is give you some kind of 30-day, 60-day, or 90-day kind of a pay guarantee while you get started. And so what you want to do is make sure that you understand the fine print of that pay guarantee. If the pay guarantee says that in order for you to get this pay guarantee, you have to be in the active pursuit of this to try to sell our products, and you have to do a certain amount of presentations or something like that, or you have to submit a certain amount of offers. You have to show that you've submitted a certain amount of offers to customers, and if you don't make the amount of money that you should make that week, then we'll pay you to draw the commission or whatever their setup is. So you just want to know that. You want to know the exact thing. You don't want to go in clueless, and then when payday comes, if your pay is different than what you expected, you're angry. That's not the way to do it. You want to know for sure. And if the company is a little irritated by you saying, wait, before, I need to understand this, you have to be the salesman now. So listen, I'll be honest with you. I don't want for you and I to be in a situation when payday comes that I don't understand this, and now you have to explain it again to me. So it's best that I know this now than me not doing it right and not get the results that both of us want, and now you have to go and explain it again. And it's possibility that if I feel like I don't have the right information, or that you did not give me the right information, I may not stay. So I want to give this a try. So break it down to me so I fully understand it before I go forward. What do you say? That's you being a salesman. Think about it. But just know that. So know that the fear that the company has is that they won't recruit enough people to sell, because sales require a constant flow of new blood coming in. Because eventually the older guys, either they move on into another position or they move out, because it's like, okay, you know what, man, let me go do something else, right? I gave it a shot. I gave it 3 months. I gave it whatever. So now all of a sudden that crew that was dependable is gone. They need new people coming in constantly. Okay. All right. So a lot of sales companies going to have something called a revolving door. Okay. And it's just the nature of the business. It doesn't mean that the company is not a good company. It doesn't mean the products are not good. It's just that's the nature of sales. Okay. All right. Next, with that is make sure that before you start, that you're sold on the product. Okay. Again, I may do, like I said, I'm going to do videos on store sales, telemarketing, and multi-marketing. This one is specifically direct sales. So make sure that you're sold on the product. Okay. That whatever it is you're selling is something that you would buy. Okay. Because you're going to have to be genuine. Okay. If it's not something you're sold on, and let's say you're just saying, I'm just going to give it a try and see, how it works. That it's not going to work. It has to be something that you're totally sold on. You're like, man, this is something that now it also, again, it depends on the company. Some companies would say, hey, yeah, well, to show that you're sold on it, you need to be the first customer. Again, you are looking for a job. If they're asking you to buy their product first, their model is to make money off of you. You are the customer. Okay? Keep that in mind. Now, you may like that, you may not. Just be aware. If you have to buy the product first, their business model isn't for you to sell. It's hoping that they recruit enough people to buy in. So even if you don't sell, you already gave them their sale. I'm not a fan of that one, but it's each individual, okay? But if they're saying, no, don't worry about it. We'll train you. We'll give you the equipment. It's a consignment. Sign here to say you're responsible for the equipment, that you're going to take care of it. But if you lose it or if you damage it, honestly, you're going to have to pay for it, okay? But you'll sell it. Maybe we'll finance it or whatever, and then we'll give you the proceeds. The way sales really work is that you're really buying the product from the company. You're selling the product to the customer. Okay, that's the back door of sales. But realizing that people are coming in not having money, they're saying, okay, well, how do we make this back door more appealing to a customer? Let's consign the product to them. Let us find the finance companies that will finance the product, and then they'll turn the money into us. After it's being processed, we'll give them their cut. Okay? That eliminates the salesperson from having to buy the product up front, having to find a finance company themselves, okay, and taking on all that burden. Okay, so that's direct sales. Got it? Okay. You're going to be getting a 1099 tax form instead of a W-2, so you're not an employee of the company unless they're set up to do an employee slash contractor setup where you get a minimum employee pay plus all your commissions. Now that's also another plan. All right. So understand, know what you're walking into, but walk in positive, but balanced. Balanced. Okay. Then here we go. Next part. Figure out whether or not your appointments is appointments, meaning that they're pre-screened, pre-qualified appointments, or if you have to go and knock on doors yourself, and if you're comfortable with that. If you're not comfortable with that, honestly, you're going to find yourself in your car, okay, going to your territory and just sitting there trying to drum up the will to get out and go after these customers, okay? So again, I think is the ultimate position that will put you face to face with yourself. I'm sure there's a lot of others. There are entertainers that have to go face to face with themselves. There are politicians have to go face to face. You know, you have to go and, you know, face the mob. You know, you have to talk to yourself, get yourself up. Let me go. I got to get up, get out there, get it done. All right. You're going to run into a lot more rejections than you are going to run into yeses. So be prepared for that. Be prepared. Set yourself up. You know, that's where a lot of the self-help make a lot of their money, is on those people who are in sales that is looking for someone or a CD in their car or MP3 or whatever to tell them, hey, you can do it. Because when it's just you in your head, sometimes it's easy to focus only on the negative. So a lot of those self-help guys, they'll you know put programs together to kind of motivate you, and you know, so that's where a lot of their money comes from, is the desire from salespeople to succeed. Okay, what else can I give you on that one? So you have the hiring process. You have, make sure you're sold on the product before you go in and sell the product. Also, know this, that a lot of the companies, a lot of them, the programs are definitely, it is a new people program, most of these sales companies, meaning that even if you're not the one buying the product from them so you can resell it, you still may have to, the first couple of presentations that you do may have to be with family members. So if the first weekend you were able to sell a few family members, and the second weekend you decide to quit, they already made that sale. You know, so it, you know, and it's not bad or good. It's just the formula. Okay. So this way you don't have to walk in and be very disgruntled about it if you're aware of it. The problem is that the desperation of a sales organization can lead them to keeping as many things as clouded as possible, because they're like, well, if we tell them they're going to be selling pots up front, they may not want to come. And if they don't come, we don't have sales. And they probably could be very good. And you probably could be very good. There's a lot of successful salespeople. There's a story. There's a story I was told. Was it me? I think it was Zig Ziglar. And the story was about oh my gosh, I'm gonna butcher this thing. If it look online somewhere for Zig Ziglar telling a story about the Texas tycoon that, my gosh, he was gonna give his daughter's hand in marriage or something like that, and he was having a party at his villa or his mansion, and he invited, to show that he was you know, a good man of the community, he invited a lot of the homeless people to his home or something of that sort. He had a big pool. He threw an alligator in there, and then the idea was, hey, whoever can swim across the pool with these alligators in it can have, you know, either my daughter's hand in marriage, which you're gonna have access to my company's wealth, or you can get $1 million or something of that sort. But anyway, so he turned around and he says, man, these guys are not going to do it. I think I did my part. I showed the county that I'm a, you know, good man. I got these people in for the party. I gave them food. I even gave them this incentive. You know, no one's going to jump in the pool. All of a sudden, here, splash, and the person is swimming, and the alligator's chomping at his, you know, at his feet, and they're pulling at his pants. And man, the guy swimming across the pool, got out of the pool, and the guy was like, holy cow, I can't believe you made it all the way to the pool. man, actually you deserve it. If anybody deserve it, you deserve this $1 million. What would you have? The $1 million with daughter's hand is man. The guy said, man, I don't care. I just want to know who threw me in the pool. And I always thought about that because a lot of successful people end up there and they don't realize how they got there. Someone tossed them into the pool, and that's what it feels like when you go to a company you didn't know you were going to be selling, vacuums, let's say. And when you look back on your career, you're like, oh my gosh, had I known I was going to go in there to sell vacuums, I wouldn't have jumped in. Had I known that I was going to go sell, I don't know, whatever, I would not have jumped in the pool. I would have stand back and not take a chance. And a lot of opportunities are like that, where some people need to be, I don't want to say tricked, but that's probably what it's like. Some people need to trip into something and then say, oh my gosh, I'm actually good at this. I had no idea, yeah. Okay, so if you have any other questions on this topic, please feel free. This question came to me through the back end to the about page on my thing, and they emailed me and asked me about this, so you can do the same. But that's what sums it up, okay? It is, and also one last thing on direct sales. Let's say like some phone companies, there's a lot of companies that still do it, honestly. You have telecommunication companies that cable, they'll knock on your door. You have guys who are doing roofing, they'll knock on your door. Insurance, what else? Pesticide, stuff like that. Even the guys who are doing your lawn, you got to get out. And you're in the neighborhood, and sometimes the pitch is, hey, I was down talking to your neighbor down the road, and they told me to give you a name. And some of the best sales is going to come from referrals, and some of the best is going to come from dropping a name. Just saying, I was talking to Bill down the road there, and he said that you're the best guy in the neighborhood. Customers like, yeah, I know you're full of, but what you selling? Here's the worst line. I get people coming in here all the time. They have no idea that I was in sales before, so I'm listening to this sales pitch, The worst line you can tell people is I'm not selling anything. Okay? That's because you're lying. Don't lie to them. Okay? And if you start out with a lie, there's a lot of people where you lose them right away because you already start out lying. Oh, I'm not selling anything. The moment a person walks in here or call me on the phone and I'm like, look, Uncle, what are you selling? I'm not selling anything. All right then. If you ask me to buy anything, this conversation is going to be over, right? Okay? Because if they said I'm selling XYZ, I can tell them right away whether or not I'm interested or not. Now they can come back with a rebuttal. You know what, Mr. What's your name, sir? Mr. What? I realize you're probably not interested. Of course you wouldn't be interested. You have no idea what we're doing, what we're offering. Okay? All I'm asking is for 2 seconds. Just let me explain what I'm doing. Learn that a pitch like that better than lying to them about I'm not selling anything, because that's an easy cop out just to try to get 5 seconds more from them. Okay? If you want to get 5 seconds more, use the Columbo deal, where you say, you know what, before I go, can I just ask you one more thing? And the moment they give you the permission to ask one more thing, that's your opportunity. Make it count. But don't lie. Okay? Don't lie. If the company's asking you to lie, move. Get out of there. Say, all right, guys, see you later. Thanks for the opportunity. I'll see you later. Because the more your name is going to be carried through this thing, and you're gonna feel like the only way you can succeed is by lying. Don't lie. All right? That's if I can leave you with that little bit there, I'll leave you with that. All right, guys, thanks for tuning into this one. I'll do another one on the store sales. I'll do one on telemarketing, and I'll do one on multi-marketing. There you go. Hey, I couldn't have queued that up any better. Until next time, bye. Thanks for watching, guys. And if you want to share your story in your sales interview or your sales experience, share it in the comments below. I would love to hear it. Okay, until next time.